Hey folks, back again to talk a little bit about the guitar and the guitar fingerboard, the fretboard, the way that I see it and visualize a lot of the shapes that I work with as far as working my way around the fingerboard and improvising and stuff that I connect together. And it was a long time ago now, when I first started out playing the guitar and learning my pentatonic scales and things like that. And I had an issue of the guitar for the practicing musician, and this issue had a transcription of the Led Zeppelin song "The Ocean" in it, and that was a big deal. Learning that song, very very fun, and pushing the limits of my ability as a guitar player. Just starting out with some of that stuff. But one of the pages that was in that magazine, in addition to the transcription of "The Ocean," was just a general article regarding the major scale and fingerings for that scale, and also the intervals that were included in it, like thirds and fourths and fifths and sixths and sevenths, and getting an idea of playing more than just, of course, pentatonic scales, which I worked on just like everybody works on your pentatonic scales, and it forms the huge basis of a lot of what gets played for a lot of guitar playing. And it's just very, very useful and important, very practical, and still, of course, plays into everything one way or another that I might play today, either directly or indirectly. But understanding, we're playing these fingerings that they had given in these diagrams here, using all four of your fingers. Well, more of a formal approach to the instrument, and then recognizing where the associated patterns are across the neck and how those form the basis of the modes. And so knowing that Dorian is built off the D a step higher, and the or natural minor, off the A. And then, lesser used stuff like the Lydian mode, which I didn't really get or understand the sound of at that time, starting out, knowing, being similar to a major scale, but, not really possessing any value for me at that time. Mixolydian, a huge component of playing blues and rock music and off the G. That's a big deal. And connecting all of those shapes across the fingerboard, and making use of them, that was, miles down the road for me. But as far as that understanding of just one key is concerned, every guitar player is going to have their own idiosyncratic view of the fingerboard and how they make use of all of these shapes. But understanding how that one key was spread out across the fingerboard, and then also that the fingerings for the keys, whether it be key of C or C sharp or key of B or key of A, all of those fingerings were the same. So that was a nice thing, that you learn the shapes in one key, you start to be able to move them around to the others. And then also seeing the pentatonic scales as a skeleton of the major scales. So this major scale form the pentatonic scale that went along with A minor, the skeleton of that, and then putting two and two together, that's both a major pentatonic shape and a minor pentatonic shape, depending upon how you apply it. Big deal for me. And then seeing the skeleton of the pentatonic scales throughout the major scales and knowing that there's the very familiar shape here, but that very familiar shape also a step above that C major shape, and then also another step above still, with that Phrygian box there, forming the skeleton of that scale. And then, of course, all 5 shapes of the pentatonic scale as it moves through, those various places on the fingerboard. And something that every guitar player eventually is going to map out and figure out, find their way around the fingerboard. And that's, some of your most basic elements of your scale playing. But although I knew my scales, and I would be able to get around the fingerboard in various places, I knew there was something else. I knew there was something that was missing, or a way to tie these scales together. And I knew the kind of sound that I wanted to get, but I couldn't get it. And it was only until I started, understanding the theory and the harmony, that basically the idea is that everything is just something else. And by that I mean that, everything is just right next door to each other. And there's always something within a few frets of where you are that is exactly what you're looking for, as long as you understand the inversions of the triads and the chords and things that compose the major scale. Then you're never really too far away from anything that you might want to put your fingers on or that you're hearing. And that, of course, takes a long time to see everything and be familiar enough with it to recognize. And then that led to a greater understanding of the entire diatonic world, where you have all 7 diatonic chords in the key that are available basically to play over every chord in the key. That's a modal perspective, but understanding the arpeggiation of those ideas, built off all of the most basic triads that are there, the C, the 7, the B diminished chord, the A minor, the G, the F, the E minor, that D minor, and then that C again, all of those being kind of almost like interchangeable in a sense, depending upon where you're at, that you can utilize all of those shapes even though you're not playing a G chord. A G chord still sounds nice over a C chord. Something like that, or whatever it may be. So everything is just something else. So, for example, like that triad, C major, G, C, E, voiced on the D, G, and B strings. If we take and we put a C bass note on that, well, C major. But what if we start moving our bass note around? What is this C in relationship to a B bass note? Well, in a way, that could be a voicing of C major 7. So that's just another inversion of putting the 7th on C major 7. If we were to move that bass note down another half step, then you've got a B major sharp 11, because the E on the top is sharp 11, or sharp 4 sound in relationship to that B flat. If we drop that bass note down again to an A, now we've got a standard A minor 7 form. If you drop that bass note down again a half step to the A flat, now you've got a flat major 7 sharp 5. If you drop that bass note down to G, well, we've got C major with G in the bass, but that could also be kind of like a G sus sound, going into like G major, so C suspended. If we drop that bass note down again another half step to F sharp, well, now I'm looking at that kind of as being like some kind of altered dominant kind of sound. So now you've got a flat 9, kind of struggling to hold that down. We've got a flat 9, we've got a flat 5, and you got your flat 7 in relationship to your F sharp. So that C major triad becomes an altered dominant sound over the bass note of F sharp. And you have your tritone relationship there, where F sharp and F sharp major and C sharp major can give you all kinds of altered dominant sounds together, whether that be over C7 or F sharp 7. The combination, that triad pair, a tritone apart, the nice sound. Another whole world of stuff to investigate right there. Drop that bass note down again to an F. Kind of tough to finger. looking at a major type of sound over F there, where that C major chord is giving you the 9, the 5, and the major 7 over an F bass note. Nice sound. Then drop that bass note down again to an E. You've got a C major with a third in the bass, or you're looking at kind of like a sharp 5 sound over a E minor chord. And then drop that bass note down again to E flat, and now that's a little tougher to digest, but still could be some kind of maybe like dominant sound, because you've got your major third, you've got your 13 there, and then the oddball is that flat 9 on the top there. So yeah, that's 13 flat 9. Altered dominant sound for E flat. Maybe not that. But it is something else. Everything is just something else. So that simple triad there with all of the chromatic bass notes, well, I guess we didn't make it back down to D. Now that could be like some kind of C major 9 sound, C major 7, 9. That could also be D 7, 9, sus 4. That's A minor 11. So you get some variations on that shape with the D in the bass. And then finally going down one more half step with C sharp. Well, now you could have C sharp minor major 7 with a sharp 11 on it. Something like that, or A7 sharp 9. So everything is just something else. That's the idea that I come to the conclusion of. And most of what probably passes for being like really like cool or hip, so to speak, is just like the wrong chord on top of some other bass note or something, you know? So hearing this sound that, you know, sounds kind of like off the wall, but it's really just a triad or some other conventional shape over the top of a bass note, you know, some other unrelated root or something like that, you know. And some of those shapes, you know, like for example, the A flat in the bass there and the C triad, it's a major 7 sharp 5 is it's a simple shape, but it gives you a very, you know, colorful palette of sounds to work with. Everything is just something else. So have fun moving bass notes around on a triad or any other chord or any other shape that you could devise on the guitar and analyze, see what you get. And if you like that sound, then use it. And if you don't, then don't use it. But there's a lot of possibilities in just investigating the idea that we should just take this simple shape and move a bass note around underneath it to give us a lot of color to work with. So anyways, we'll see you next time.